Hello and welcome back to Tales of Lumin. Today we're talking Blood Bowl yet again because my game against Dodger went up on my channel, it went up on her channel, and I think it's about time to discuss it. Why not? Now I've made a list here and I have included the good, the neutral, and the bad. I got all these points from reading through the comment section of Dodger's video, the Blood Bowl subreddit, and the comment section of my video. And I gotta say, it was kind of shocking. Reading through the comments on her video, sure there are a whole lot more of them, so it's more difficult to find the good comments anyway, and they do end up being just that, hidden gems. Almost impossible, seriously. But comparing her comments to mine, she has a bunch of people firstly just saying she's great, she's amazing, wow, it looks like you're having fun, and these are cool comments. Always nice to have. I thank each and every one of you that leaves comments like that because it's nice to see as a YouTuber. It really is. But then she has comments that are basically just people shouting at her, saying she's terrible, saying she keeps making mistakes, and saying that she should just quit playing Blood Bowl altogether. And then finally she's got comments that I guess are meant to be the insightful ones, the constructive ones, that always seem to end up being someone just pointing out all the flaws in her play without giving her solutions to it. So I don't know if she spends any time reading the comment section of her videos, browsing through there, looking for tips or not, but if she does, it's going to take her a good amount of time to find anything. And if you compare that to my video, wow, it's like night and day. Okay, on my video, you guys are busy just laying down the law with what should and shouldn't be done, with what should be practiced, what shouldn't be practiced. You guys are telling me what to spend my points on when I level my players, which moves I should prioritize, which players should be doing what out on the field, how to best schedule my practice. Man, it is just so great. And I will say again that I seem to have the best possible community of viewers. I don't even know how it happened, but thank you. Thank you again for just being as amazing as you are. Because it's helping me out a lot. And I've made a list. Okay? I've made a list. Now up until this point, I've been playing against teams that are considered terrible. Goblins are bad. They're unpredictable. They don't have that much going for them in terms of strengths, and halflings, they are probably, I don't know if I'd say they're the worst team because I don't know all the teams, but I think that Dodger probably has the worst team currently in the league. So I was expected to win those two games, and come my third match against Strippin, I am going to have a real challenge on my hands. I don't know what's going to happen in that match. I get the sneaking suspicion that his war dancers are just going to rip my players apart, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Not going to stress about it, just going to have fun. Because that has been what I've been trying to do thus far. I mean, I've practiced a little bit. I've done a lot of reading, yes, but I've done it because I enjoy it. And I enjoy knowing what's going on, and the good, the neutral, and the bad helping me out a lot. Just putting that out there, it's helping me out a whole lot. But I have been going into this expecting a certain level of fun, and I've been attaining that level in every single game. More so in my game against Dodger, obviously, we just laughed all the way through. She was just a great person to sit on Skype with. Seriously. I mean, if given the opportunity, I will record something else with her in a heartbeat. So maybe I will offer my services at some point. I don't care what that something is. I mean, geez. I will talk about the difference between tea and coffee with her. I'll talk about bottled still mineral water. I'll do that. And I will have fun. That said, I think that her game is probably going to be one of the highlights. The game that I played against her is probably going to be one of the highlights of the entire Speed Bowl League for me, just because of how much fun we both had. And I think we would have had fun regardless of who won or lost. Again, because we share the same philosophies in life when it comes to gaming. So there. But now let's get to the list, because There's some important stuff here, and I think for the most part I'm just going to read through it, talk about each point a little bit. Some of them don't really need much talking about, but I'm going to read through it and just put it out there. The fact that I've read this, I have considered it, and I'm going to take all of this into account come my next game. Well, I'll probably take it all into account before my next game, because I will play a couple of practice games. We'll see. Maybe I'll even just challenge one or two of the players in the league to a friendly match. I don't know. Krendor seems to always be up for practice. Now, I don't play him till much later in the league, so it's not like we're going to give anything away, spoil anything by doing that. So maybe I will. We'll see. Now, the good. It seems like I have the basics down. It seems like I've got a lot of potential. There's a lot going on up in this noggin, but I just lack the experience of some of the other players in the league, and that may well be my downfall come the more tough matches, but we'll see. Now, I also played a lot faster. That is one of the good points. A lot faster compared to the first match, but not fast enough. I also made decent plays. I think that given the opportunities presented to me, I did the most... No, I did the right thing most of the times. Not all the time, but in most cases. And I scored twice. In the game against Dodger, I scored twice. That's cool. I seem to have gotten lucky as well with Splin being the MVP again. And he is now a monstrous level 3, which is apparently the highest level in the league thus far. I mean, I don't know if that's gonna ring true at the end of the week. Maybe someone else will have a level 4 player miraculously. That's also possible. I've heard of some crazy things happening, so I wouldn't put it past Blood Bowl to reward someone with a level 4 player. But Splin, who is Master Splinter, for those that don't know, he's a gutter runner, and he's going to have a whole lot of, let's just say, choices. I guess it's me that's going to have the choices, but there are a lot of opportunities to mold Splin into what I want him to be going forward. And a couple of you guys actually just gave me a couple of suggestions, and the two that I was considering were either turning him into a blitzer, so he could sort of rush people down, so he could sort of be a bit more tanky, so he could survive a little longer, because apparently gutter runners die real quick. And that sounded good. I liked the idea of getting block on him. That sounded really good to me. And then the other option was turning him into a touchdown machine, but that is a little bit more scary, and I think a better player than myself could probably pull something like that off, but I'm scared of doing that because against the bashy teams like the Dwarves, it's going to be crazy, because if he dies, or if he gets seriously injured and doesn't play in the next match or whatever, then I'm going to be in serious trouble, and he's going to be racking up all the SPP. Is it SSP or SPP? I think it's star player points. And if he does do that, so if he goes up to like level 5 and everyone else is still on level 1, then everyone's going to be gunning for him. Everyone. Struppen has already told me on Skype that he's sending his war dancers exclusively after Splinter. So I'm not happy about that. I'm just not. We'll see. We'll see though. And that is pretty much it for the good. The neutral, well, there's much less here. It's pretty much just things like activate combat log. It's things that I need to remember. Then there was a very, very interesting and useful thing that someone left as a comment. And that is that you only get one throw and one handoff per turn. And a player who has blitzed cannot throw or handoff that turn again. I had no idea. I mean, often I end up sitting there in my game wondering why I can't do something, but that explains it perfectly. So I gotta think about this before I blitz. And that said, unless I've got a very specific play in mind, I probably shouldn't blitz right at the start of the turn. It's good to know. It's really good to know. Then, there's something interesting that someone else told me, that I can use blocks and attacks to move away from the big guys on the starting line. So for instance, against Dodger, she had the 3 trees right at the front, and if my Rat Ogre was given an opportunity to attack someone with, say, 2 dice on one of the sides and then pursue them, that would move my Rat Ogre out of those big guys' tackle zone safely. That's really good to know. Because then my Rat Ogre, or any other player that's there on the starting line, can move out without having to roll for dodge. And when it's something like a tree or a troll, then there's always that possibility that really stupid or rooted is going to trigger and they won't be able to pursue. So that's good. That's really good to know. Now the bad. I need to work on my field awareness, because I often have players just chilling out back, not being moved around. And I think Boo was one of the players, my thrower was one of the players that was just left behind in my game against Dodger, because I totally forgot that he was back there. Also, I need to use the thrower more, and I need to use him to pass more and to pick up the ball more, because he's got the sure hands trait or ability or skill, and that should not be overlooked. Then, blitzers need to blitz. I should not so much use the linemen and the gutter runners to blitz. I need to use the storm vermin, because they're much better at it. They've got block, both down doesn't affect them, and that's important. Really important. I should use more crowd surfing to set myself up for good plays. That's also kind of important. And I'm getting the hang of the crowd surfing, sort of getting a feel for it. Basically what it means is that if there's a big clump of your players in one little area, then, and not just your players, I guess just players in general, then you can knock one to knock another one to knock another one to set up this little chain reaction, and thus move players around. Either move opponents' players away or your players into a position that you want them in. It's kind of difficult to do, but it can set you up quite nicely for some really interesting or decent plays. So it's something that's well worth considering. In that game against Dodger, I didn't use my free bribe. I had no idea I had even received a free bribe. That was a mistake. I could have fouled someone and gotten away with it. Then, at the end of the game, I also accidentally re-rolled my earnings or my income or my winnings of the game. That was 100% an accident, and yes, I clicked too fast, I didn't read, it was my bad. And it's something I will not do again, but I guess I was just already in that mindset of trying to get things done really quickly after the 40-second turns. Again, my bad. Then I need to learn to pass more. That sort of links up with me using my thrower more. But I need to learn to pass more because the gutter runners are really good at receiving with their 4 agility. And the thrower can throw pretty far. So a couple of you guys told me that I should think about setting up 2-turn touchdowns. 1-turn touchdowns are way too complicated, but 2-turn touchdowns can happen. And it mostly comes down to how people set their field up. Or I suppose how observant people are. Or I suppose how slow their players are. So say for instance against a Dwarven team, if I could have my layout much the same as I usually have it, in sort of a flying V formation, a backwards flying V, an inverted flying V, then I can still split my blitzers off to the side. So I'll just have 3 on the front line, on the starting line, my Rat Ogre, my 2 linemen, and then I will have the blitzers there with the gutter runners right next to them on the sides, and when I receive the ball, my thrower will get it. He can pass it up to the gutter runner on the left or on the right, doesn't matter. That gutter runner can catch it, okay, because he has 4 agility. He might even have more, considering, you know, there are levels. They can level, they can get more agility. They can get different skills that'll help with that. Then, that gutter runner chills for like 1 second, and the blitzer can blitz someone out of the way on that side, the storm vermin who will be there to support the gutter runner, and I may be making small sort of misplays here. I'm going to call it a missed talk for now because I'm not actually making the play. I'm just trying to explain how it works. But then the Storm Vermin can blitz that person, choose both down if it's a possibility because it's got block, or just push, and then push it off to the side. Then the Gut Runner can slink up along the side, and with its 9 or even 10 movement, depending on the level, it'll get kind of far up the field, and the chances are, if the opposing player doesn't have anyone that far back on the field, they won't be able to get there in one turn. And even if they do, my player has very high agility, so the chances are it'll be okay. And I could have used Go for it to get a few squares further. So that's the kind of thing I should think about doing. Finally, never use the Apothecary on a KO. I just recently, an hour or two ago, watched Krendor's little guide that he set up. It wasn't a little guide, it was a pretty big guide, and it covered some of the basics that I didn't know, including the different states that players can go into when they get like beaten down on. And a KO is one of the least severe ones, so I shouldn't use the Apothecary on that. I should save it for if they get killed, or if they get badly injured, or if their spine gets broken, whatever. I should save it for that. But there you go. I'm sure by the time this video goes up, there's going to be even more useful stuff in the comment section of my video, and I suggest you guys have a look at it, because if you're going to be watching my games, it helps to understand what's going on. For me, it obviously helps to understand what's going on if I'm going to be playing them. But there you go. Thanks again so much for being so supportive. Those of you that are new to the channel, and those that have been here for ages and are just getting into Blood Bowl with me, thank you. I appreciate it. I really do, and I absolutely love the league so far. I'm having so much fun with it. It's great to be able to play against these guys that I'm playing against, and it's even more so amazing just being able to talk about it afterwards, because it's fun. It's nice learning things, isn't it? I think so. So you can check back here tomorrow for another Tales of Lumin episode. Give this one a like, share it, and do all that other good stuff. Subscribe as well, if you haven't, because that's good. And I like it. Happy that.